Welcome to another video of us going to a place where there used to be a dirt track. We are in Grantville, Pennsylvania. I brought my dad with.
Grantville.
There he is. We are at Penn National for Penn National Speedway. There's the casino, Hollywood Casino. And over here used to be a racetrack, and we're gonna go talk about it and we're gonna go explore it. So come along, friends. Penn National Speedway raced its first event on July 17th, 1971. It was a unique half mile compared to the other dirt tracks in the area because it was modeled after the Reading Fairgrounds Speedway and having no banking at any point. The corners were flat. Lindy Vicari built and promoted the track once it was set, focusing on modifieds and sprint cars for the Sunday night programs. He was also the promoter at the Reading Fairgrounds Speedway itself. The track was successful and popular, and then 1972 came around, and at the end of that summer, the project right next door, Penn National Race Course for the horses, was completed for the horse racing and the gambling. This is when the track solidified as a Sunday night track, since that was the night of the week that there were no horse races going on. At the end of 1972, Vicari gave up his role with the track to the local legend Jack Gunn, with assistance from the iconic driver and chassis builder Dick Tobias. These two paired for a couple of years of action before Gunn's health declined and he handed the facility off to Tobias in 1977. At this point, sprint cars stopped being part of the regular program and the track focused around small block modifieds and super sportsmen. In June of 1978, however, Tobias lost his life racing at Flemington Speedway in New Jersey. The track was taken over by his wife, Debbie, who kept things moving. She stepped the track up a notch as the leader, actually, getting the track onto the World of Outlaws calendar from 1979 through 1981. Later on in 1982, a dentist from Lebanon named Robert Wirtz leased the track, and in 1983, John Wirtz, alongside Kenny McMullen, began their run as promoters as the track began focusing more on its weekly racing and modifieds. Penn National was included in the local tri-track circuit, where the modifieds would race at Big Diamond, Grandview, and Penn National through a weekend. It was a big deal, and locals still talk very highly of this time. At the end of 1992, the Penn National Turf Club, which owned the horse track as well, officially took back that lease and started acting as the promotion of the Speedway. Things stayed pretty much the same when this happened, but they did add the track to the Pennsylvania Sprint Speedway calendar from 1994 to 1996. At the end of 1996, the horse track decided that it was going to move horse racing to Sunday evenings as well, which conflicted with the car track, and so, in November of 1996, the announcement was made that Penn National Speedway would not be returning. Just like that, it was over. There was hope left with the track, as this was right at the time where NASCAR was beginning to send its Busch and Truck series to smaller tracks around the country, so believe it or not, the idea was brewing to pave the racetrack and host NASCAR races the same way as what happened to Flemington Speedway and Mansfield Speedway. They were depending on NASCAR to keep the track alive, and in the end, it didn't work out. The facility sat to be taken back by Mother Nature for the next 10 years before the remains were demolished in 2006. All that's left is an empty field and a faint outline of the track that once stood here. And here we are, walking on what was the back straightaway. It goes up here. This was a half mile, so then up at the top, it might be hard to come up on the camera, but there's still a little remnants of like where the turn sort of would have angled. The track was flat, and then over here where those bushes are would have been where the grandstand was, and then it would come down. And fortunately for us, in this specific area that we're in, turns 1 and 2, there's that little embankment right there, and it follows the path. So if you look at this place on Google Maps, you will not see the outline, but you will see where it was. It's pretty clear where it was. It's sort of on the north side of the building, and then there's a big lot, and now there's this little road that cuts in the middle of it, but you can still see the big emptiness where the track was. So we are standing right now on the back stretch. Okay, here's my dad.
Hello.
My dad used to work here.
Yes, I did.
And he used to work here when the track was here.
Yes, I did. It was on, the races were on Sunday night because the disruption from the sounds of the racing would have caused problems and issues for the thoroughbred racing horses that raced here on Friday and Saturday nights. So they had to do it Sunday night.
What do you remember about the races?
They were modifieds. They were more rudimentary and kind of rough-looking local guys that ran modifieds. They were very loud, very close racing with nice large fields, because there was no place else to go to make a buck on a Sunday night with racing. So they got all the people that raced on Fridays and Saturdays to come here. So they had large fields. It was nice participation. And when you worked over here at the track, I could look out the windows of the track and see the racing going on Sunday nights.
Well, there you have it, folks. That's Penn National and the facilities. This is roughly where the main front grandstand would have been. This like pile of leaves and bushes and whatnot. Now the wind's really picking up, and that's phenomenal. But this is going to be the last of the 10 videos in this little series over the off season of these abandoned racetracks. So I figured this was as good of a place to end it as any, because this is a racetrack that still has a lot of love and a lot of memories, and there's a lot of people still going to racetracks today that will talk a lot about this place and how much they loved it. So, but relative to some of the places that we've gone in this series, there's enough here to make you at least recognize, like, oh, there was a racetrack there. But nonetheless, it has been fun to do this series. I have enjoyed seeing the history in our local area, and hopefully we can keep the memory of some of these places alive. Some of them, you know, are now parking lots or buildings, and you would not think that there was a racetrack there at some point in time. But so hopefully, if you enjoyed the series, maybe share it with some friends who could remember some of this stuff. I'm always open to hearing more about the places I've been, but main goal, hopefully everybody's enjoyed it. So I've had fun with it. I think this might become a regular thing, but for this season, we're going to say adieu and go home and put our hands in something warm because it's cold and windy outside. But hopefully you've enjoyed it. Thank you all for watching along with this series, and we'll see you in the next video.